Good afternoon. This is Priyanshi Garg, a student of Acropolis Institute of Technology and Research. Currently, I'm in my third year, and today I'm going to present a topic called Big Data Analytics and its preservation. So let's start with it. Okay. So this is what we are going to cover in our slide. We're going to start with what is Big Data Analytics, why is Big Data Analytics important, how does big data analytics work. Actually, we have to understand that how big data works in order to understand it. Big data, key big data analytics technologies and tools, privacy threats in big data analytics, privacy preservation methods. Big data analytic is a technology which is increasing day by day, and so there are some threads which can occur in which is occurring nowadays in data analytics. So we are going to look at those threads, and of course, after the looking at the threads, we are going to see the methods, its preventing methods. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. This is introduction. We'll start at what is big data analytics. So guys, what does it mean, big data analytics? Such a heavy words these are. So let's look at its meaning. Big data analytics is the often complex process of examining big data to uncover information such as hidden patterns, correlations, market trends, and customer preferences that can help organizations make informed business decisions. On a broad scale, data analytics technologies and techniques give this organization be any big, like public, private, any sector, a way to analyze data sets and gather new information. Business analytics, which is also known as BI, queries answer basic questions about business operations and performance. Big data analytics is a form, you know, it is a form of advanced technology. It is a form of advanced technology of it. It is a form of advanced analytics. Analytics. It is a form of technology or analytics which involve complex applications with elements such as predictive models, statistical algorithms, and what-if analysis powered by analytics system. So this is guys a brief introduction about what is big data analytics. I hope you understood it. Now next is why big data analytics is important. Why we are studying it. Why nowadays there is so much hype, so much talks about big data analytics and that big data, metadata, and all that. So, organizations can use big data analytics systems and softwares to make data driven decisions that can improve business related outcomes. So, what they are doing is कि big data analytics के through अपन क्या कर सकते हैं, data driven decisions ले सकते हैं. And of course, by making data driven decisions, we can improve our business outcomes. Our business can grow on a large scale, widely, and all that. The benefits may include more effective marketing, new revenue opportunities, customer personalization, and improved operational efficiency. With the effective strategy, these benefits can provide competitive advantages over rivals. Of course, ये बात है कि अगर big data analytics के through, because big data analytics के through अपन अपना बिजनेस ग्रो कर पा रहे हैं इन एनी सेक्टर इफ इट इज प्रोवाइडेड कि भाई उससे क्या हो रहा है कि अपने रिवेन्यू बढ़ रहा है, मार्केटिंग इफेक्टिव मार्केटिंग हो रही है, तो बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स के थ्रू वी कैन इम्प्रूव आवर बिजनेस, है ना. इन हुज कंपैरिजन, इन राइवल्स कंपैरिजन, कि राइवल कंपनी जो है उसके कंपैरेटिव में अपना जो बिजनेस है इट कैन ग्रो इन अ बेटर वे यूजिंग बिग डेटा एनालिटिक्स. Okay, so now let's look at how does this big data analytics work. I hope you are getting intrigued with this. So big data analytics work कैसे करता है? So उसके पहले ये देखते हैं कि big data analytics, who is who works, मतलब काम कौन करता है, इसको implement कौन करता है. तो basically this big data analytics works are done by data analysts and data scientists, या फिर predictive modelers, statisticians and other analytics professionals who collect, process, clean, and analyze growing volumes of structured transactions data as well as the other forms of data not used by the conventional BI and analytics program. तो जो DAs हैं, DSs हैं, मतलब साइंटिस्ट है, स्टैटिस्टिशियंस हैं, क्या करते हैं, डेटा को कलेक्ट करते हैं, उनको प्रोसेस करते हैं, देन उसको क्लीन करते हैं, फिर उसको एनालाइज करते हैं। ऑल दिस प्रोसेसेस होती हैं। तो एक क्विक ओवरव्यू ले लेते हैं, मतलब बेसिकली 4 स्टेप्स का, कि डेटा प्रोफेशनल्स जो हैं, व्हाट दे डू, these data professionals these data professionals collects data from variety of different sources. Often it is a mix of semi-structured and unstructured data. It is important to know that जो data collect होता है at the initial level, वो ज़रूरी नहीं है कि structured ही हो. It can be a mixture. It could be a semi-structured, it could be unstructured data. So while each organization will use different data streams, some common sources include internet clickstream data, web server logs, cloud applications, mobile applications, social media content, text from customer emails and survey responses, mobile phone records, and machine data is captured by sensors connected to the Internet of Things, which is also known as IoT. Second point is कि data is provided and processed. Data को prepare करते हैं, मतलब collect तो कर लिया, अब उसको prepare करेंगे, then we are going to process it. So data is prepared and processed after data is collected and stored in data warehouses or data lake. आफ्टर डेटा का जब अपन कलेक्ट कर लेते हैं, देन अपन उसको कहाँ स्टोर करते हैं, डेटा वेयर हाउसेज और डेटा लेक्स में. तो डेटा वेयर हाउस बेसिकली अ बिग प्लेस, एक स्टोरेज एरिया है जहाँ पे अपन अपने डेटा को जो प्रोसेस होके आया है उसको अपन स्टोर कर रहे हैं, है ना. सो दिस डेटा इज कलेक्टेड एंड स्टोर्ड इन डेटा वेयर हाउसेज और डेटा लेक. डेटा प्रोफेशनल्स मस्ट ऑर्गेनाइज, कॉन्फ़िगर एंड पार्टीशन द डेटा प्रॉपरली फॉर एनालिटिक क्वेरीज. Thorough data preparation and processing make for higher performance from analytical queries. Third point is data is clean to improve its quality. You know, data को अपन जब prepare करते हैं, उसको organize करते हैं, उसके बाद उसको clean, ये cleaning जो step है, this is most crucial, this is the most important step, क्योंकि cleaning of data से क्या हो रहा है, cleaning of data से अपने जो unwanted या harmful या फिर जो भी ऐसा है data which is not suitable for our कलेक्शन पर्पस, तो उसे रिमूव करना बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. इससे क्या होता है, इससे अपने डेटा की क्वालिटी इंप्रूव होती है. डेटा प्रोफेशनल स्क्रब द डेटा. बेसिकली डेटा जो प्रोफेशनल्स होते हैं जो कि एक्चुअली काम कर रहे होते हैं डेटा पे, वो क्या करते हैं, डेटा को स्क्रब करते हैं द डेटा यूजिंग स्क्रिप्टिंग टूल्स और डेटा क्वालिटी सॉफ्टवेयर से. They look for any queries, any errors, or any inconsistencies such as duplications or formatting mistakes and organize and tidy up the data. So the data cleaning is the most crucial step. Next point is the data is collected. Data को अपन collect कर रहे हैं, we are processing it, and क्लीन डेटा को जो है अपन एनालाइज कर रहे हैं विद एनालिटिक्स सॉफ्टवेयर. अब क्या हो गया, अपना डेटा जो स्टेज पे, थर्ड स्टेज पे क्लीन हो चुका है. क्लीन होने के बाद उसे फिर कलेक्ट कर रहे हैं, प्रोसेस कर रहे हैं, और जो क्लीन डेटा है उसको अपन क्या कर रहे हैं, एनालाइज कर रहे हैं. किस में एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, किसके थ्रू एनालाइज कर रहे हैं, एनालिटिक्स सॉफ्टवेयर के थ्रू एनालाइज कर रहे हैं. ठीक है. दिस टूल्स, अब ये टूल्स क्या हो सकते हैं, व्हाट दिस टूल्स कुड बी, व्हाट दिस सॉफ्टवेयर एनालिटिक्स सॉफ्टवेयर टूल्स कैन बी. दिस कुड बी डेटा माइनिंग which shifts through data sets in search of patterns and relationship. Data mining हो सकते हैं वो tools, या फिर हो सकते हैं predictive analytics which builds predictive analytics हो सकते हैं जो कि build कर रहे हैं models to forecast customer behavior and all other future actions, scenarios and trends. Third could be machine learning which tapes various algorithms to analyze large data sets. Then it could be deep learning which is more advanced short of machine learning. It could be text mining and sorry, it could be text mining and statistical analysis software. It could be AI, which is artificial intelligence. It could be mainstream business intelligence software, or it could be data visualizations. These are the basic tools which could be used for analyzing the data which is cleaned, processed, and collected. Okay. Now let's look at the key, the big data analytics tools and techniques. So this is that. This is key big data analytics tools and techniques. So, okay. Many different types of tools and technologies are used to support big data analytics processes. Common technologies and tools used to enable big data analytics processes include: first and the foremost is Hadoop. This is the most crucial, most important, and widely used tool for big data analytics process. So what is Hadoop? It is a open source framework for storing and processing big data sets. Hadoop can handle large amount of structured and unstructured data. ओके तो Hadoop के बारे में गाइस आई कैन एक्सप्लेन यू, मतलब इसके लिए मैं पूरे एक अलग से स्लाइड पीपीटी बना सकती हूँ. इट इज़ अ वेरी वास्ट टॉपिक, बट बिकॉज ये मेरा करंट टॉपिक को इतना इंक्लूड नहीं है इसमें, तो मैं जस्ट इसका ब्रीफ इंट्रोडक्शन दूंगी. ठीक है, तो व्हाट इज हडूप? हडूप एक ओपन सोर्स फ्रेमवर्क है जो कि स्टोर कर रहा है, प्रोसेस कर रहा है बिग डेटा सेट्स को. ठीक है, हडूप कैन हैंडल लार्ज अमाउंट ऑफ डेटा. दिस डेटा कुड बी ऑफ गीगाबाइट्स, मतलब टेराबाइट्स, उसके आगे पेंटा जो भी है उसके आगे का ही डील करता है, बड़ा डेटा डील करता है ये, या इंस्ट्रक्चर्ड और अनस्ट्रक्चर्ड डेटा दोनों को डील कर सकता है. Second is predictive analytics, which is hardware and software which processes large amount of complex data and use machine learning and statistical algorithms to make predictions about future event outcomes. Organizations use predictive analytics tools for fraud detection, marketing, risk assessments and operations. इस predictive analytics का यूज क्यों करते हैं प्रोफेशनल? ताकि वो क्या कर सकें, फ्रॉड डिटेक्ट कर सकें, मार्केटिंग या रिस्क असेसमेंट या ऑपरेशंस को डिटेक्ट कर सकें. नाउ थर्ड इज स्ट्रीम एनालिटिक्स. Stream analytics tools which are used to filter, aggregate, and analyze big data that may be stored in many different formats or platforms. Thus, now the fourth is distributed storage data, which is replicated generally on a non-relational database. This can be as a measure against independent node failures, loss of corrupted big data, or to provide low latency access. Now, fifth is NoSQL databases, which are non-relational data management systems, है ना? Which is not, it is not RDBMS. It's not relational database management system, but it is non-relational database management system. It is NoSQL database that are useful when working with large sets of distributed data. They do not require a fixed schema, which make them ideal for raw and unstructured data. The sixth one is a data lake. A data lake is a large storage capacity. जैसे अपन ने देखा था कि warehouses and lakes क्या होते हैं? These are basically बड़ी बड़ी area होते हैं, godown types होते हैं. You can understand large storage area is a large storage repository that holds native format raw data until it is needed. Data lakes use a flat architecture. Sixth, now next is data warehouse, which is a repository that stores large amount of collected data by different sources. Data warehouses typically store data using predefined schemas. Next one is knowledge discovery या big data mining, tools which enable businesses to mine large amount of structured and unstructured big data. Next is in-memory data fabric, which distributes large amount of data across system memory resources. This helps provide low latency for data access and processing. Next is data visualization, which includes data access without technical restrictions. Next is data integration softwares. This is important. This point is important, which enables big data to be streamlined across different platforms, including Apache Hadoop. You know, Hadoop का अपन Apache Hadoop भी बोलते हैं, MongoDB and Amazon EMR. Next is data quality software, which cleanses and enriches large data sets. Data preprocessing software, which processes data for further analysis. Data is formatted and unstructured is cleaned. Unstructured data जो होगा उसको clean करेगा. Spark, which is an open source cluster computing framework used for batch and stream data processing. Okay, so this data analytics applications often include data from both internal systems and external systems. Internal system से भी होगा, internal system से भी होगा और external system से भी होगा. Okay, so such as weather data or demographic data on consumers compiled by third-party information services providers. In addition, streaming analytics applications are becoming common in big data environments as users look to perform real-time analytics on data fed into Hadoop systems through stream processing engines such as Spark, Flink, and Storm. Okay, so big data has become increasingly beneficial in a supply chain analytics. Big supply chain analytics utilizes big data and quantitative methods to enhance decision-making processes across a supply chain. Also, big supply chain analytics implements highly effective statistical methods on new and existing data sources. So the next slide is about data analytics uses and examples. So let's move on to that. So guys, let's start with privacy threats in data analytics. So what are privacy? It is very important to know what is privacy before moving on to its threads in data analytics. Also, words heavy. Let's look at the meaning of privacy. Privacy is the ability of an individual to determine what data can be shared and employ access control. What did I say that privacy is the ability of an individuals who to determine what data can be shared and employ access control. Okay, if the data is in a public domain, then it is a threat to individual privacy as the data is held by the data holder. अगर डेटा पब्लिक डोमेन में है तो वो डेटा जो है थ्रेड में है बिकॉज डेटा किसने हेल्ड करके रखा है, डेटा होल्डर्स ने हेल्ड करके रखा है. डेटा होल्डर्स कौन कौन हो सकते हैं? इट कुड बी सोशल नेटवर्किंग एप्लीकेशन, वेबसाइट्स, मोबाइल एप्स, ई कॉमर्स साइट्स, बैंक्स, हॉस्पिटल्स etc. It is the responsibility of the data holder to ensure privacy of the user's data. Apart from data held in the public domain, knowing or unknowingly users themselves contribute to the data leaking या data leakage जिसे अपन कह सकते हैं. For example, most of the mobile apps seek access to our contacts, files, camera, etc. And without reading the privacy statement, we agree for all the terms and conditions, thereby contributing to the data storage, data leakage. And there is a need to educate the smartphone users regarding the privacy and privacy threats. Some of the key privacy threats include surveillance, surveillance, disclosure, discrimination, and personal embracement and abuse. Okay, so what do you mean by surveillance? What is surveillance? Like what does it mean? Many organizations, including retail, e-commerce, etc., study their customers' buying habits and try to come up with various offers and value-added services. Based on the opinion data and sentiment analysis, social media sites does provide recommendations of the new friends, places to visit, people to follow, etc. The best example which I can give here is the Instagram, because if you are liking, if you're scrolling down on a particular post, then the next day or within an hour or two, you will be getting a recommendation of the same kind of things. Okay. This is a possible only when they continuously monitor their customer transactions, their customer. ऑफ कोर्स ये कस्टमर क्या कर रहा है उनका, उसको अगर वो मॉनिटर कर रहे हैं कंटिन्यूसली, उसके बाद ही ये ये स्टेज आ सकती है. दिस इज अ सीरियस प्राइवेसी थ्रेट एज नो इंडिविजुअल एक्सेप्ट सर्विलेंस. नाउ सेकंड इज डिस्क्लोजर. व्हाट डज इट मीन बाय डिस्क्लोजर? कंसिडर अ हॉस्पिटल होल्डिंग पेशेंट्स डेटा व्हिच इंक्लूड्स जिप, जेंडर, एज, डिजीज. ठीक है, एक हॉस्पिटल का डेटा अपन फॉर एग्जांपल लेते हैं जिसमें पेशेंट्स का डेटा है, पेशेंट्स का क्या इन्फॉर्मेशन है, जिप, gender, age, disease. The data holder has released data to a third party for analysis by anonymizing sensitive person-specific data so that the person cannot be identified. The third-party data analysts can map this information with the freely available external data sources like census data and can identify persons suffering from such disorder. This is how private information of a person can be disclosed, which is considered as a serious privacy breach. नेक्स्ट इज डिस्क्रिमिनेशन. सो अब ये डिस्क्रिमिनेशन कैसे आया, आप लोग सोच रहे होंगे, तो लेट्स लुक इनटू इट कि डिस्क्रिमिनेशन यहाँ कहाँ से आएगा, भेदभाव यहाँ कैसे आ सकता है. डिस्क्रिमिनेशन इज द बायस और द इनइक्वालिटी which can happen when some private information of a person is disclosed. For instance, a statistical analysis of electoral results proved that people of one community were completely against the party which formed the government. Now, the government can neglect that community or can have bias over them. Next is personal embracement and abuse. Whenever some private information of a person is disclosed, it can even lead to personal embracement or abuse. For example, a person was privately undergoing medical medication for some specific problem and was buying some medicines on a regular basis from a medical shop. Okay. As part of their regular business model, the medical shop may send some reminder and offers related to these medicines over phone. If any family member has noticed this, it will lead to personal embarrassment and even abuse. Data analytics activity will affect data privacy. Many countries are enforcing privacy preservation laws. Lack of awareness is also a major reason for privacy attacks. For example, some smartphones users are not aware of the information that is stolen from their phones by many apps. Previous research shows only 17%, guys. Only what? 17%? 70% of smartphone users are aware of the privacy threats, which is very less. So we need to make more people aware of the privacy threats. It is more important. Now let's look at the privacy prevention methods कि अपन कैसे इन threats को prevent कर सकते हैं. Okay, so many privacy preserving techniques are developed, but most of them are based on anonymization of data. अपन देखेंगे anonymization का मतलब आगे, बिल्कुल आप लोड मत लो. The list of privacy preservation techniques is given below. First is K anonymity, second is L diversity, T मतलब third is T closeness, next is randomization, next is data distribution, next is cryptographic techniques. सोच रहे होंगे कि क्रिप्टोग्राफी यहाँ कहाँ से आ गई. Okay, we'll look into it. We'll look into it. Next is randomization, data distribution, cryptographic techniques. सोच रहे होंगे कि मतलब of course I have told it before. Sorry. The last one is multidimensional sensitivity based anonymization, which is MDSBA. So guys, let's look deep into it in the next slides. Okay, so first is K anonymity. उसके पहले देख लेते हैं कि anonymization का मतलब क्या होता है. So anonymization is the process of modifying data before it is given for data analytics. क्या करना? Anonymity का मतलब क्या होता है कि it is a process कि जैसे आप डेटा को मॉडिफाई कर रहे हो before it is given for data analytics, so that the identification is not possible and will lead to K indistributable records if an attempt is made to the identify by mapping the anonymized data with external data sources. K anonymity is prone to two attacks, namely homogeneity attack and background knowledge attack. Some of the algorithms applied include incognito monitoring to ensure anonymization. K anonymity is applied on the patient data. For example, अगर अपन ले तो एक example अपन ने एक table ली है जैसा कि आप लोग यहाँ देख सकते हैं. This table. In this table we have applied मतलब like अपन ने इसमें एक patient data लिया है जिसमें अपन ने K anonymity को apply करा है. The table shown data before anonymization. Okay, so this table shows the patient data before anonymization. तो आप देख सकते हैं कि इसमें serial number है, zip है, age है and disease है of the patient. So like for example, first serial number का zip या code जो भी बोलो आप वो है 57677 and that patient age is 29 और उसको disease क्या है? He has a cardiac problem, heart problem है उसको. Okay, so anonymity algorithm is applied with K value as 3 to ensure 3 indistinguishable records with an attempt to identify a particular person's data. Okay, anonymity is applied on the two attributes which is zip and age. अपन ने की anonymity किस में applied करी है? Zip में करी है और age में करी है. Okay. K anonymity is applied on the two attributes zip and age. The resulting of applying anonymization of zip and age attribute is shown in the table 2. जब अपन ने zip और age में anonymity को apply करा है तो उसके बाद अपन ने उसको table 2 में लिखा है. मतलब it is, you can see, read from over here, it is after data table 2 after applying anonymization on zip and age. Okay. So what we did over here is that before the patient data was एनोनिमाइज, उसका सीरियल नंबर 1 था, जिप ये था, एज ये थी और उसको कार्डियक प्रॉब्लम थी। तो अगर अपन ने जब जिप और एज को एनोनिमाइज करा तो अपन ने क्या करा कि सबके इनिशियल्स देखो जिप में क्योंकि की एट्रीब्यूट तो उसके बारे में बात करते हैं कि जैसे शुरू के 3 पेशेंट्स के जिप कोड में इनिशियल सेम थे, तब अपन ने उसको एज अ जनरल फॉर्म दिखाया और बाकी जो 2 कोड्स थे दीज वर यूनिक, तो अपन ने उसको क्या करा, स्टार मार्क कर दिया। मतलब नॉर्मली उसको सब नहीं देख सकते, ओनली अ स्पेसिफाइड ग्रुप जो कि पर्सन होगा जिसने डेटा बनाया जनरेट करा है वही देख सकता है। दूसरे में हमने एज में भी देख सकते हैं कि पहले पेशेंट की एज 29 थी, दूसरे की 22 थी और तीसरे की 27 थी। तो अपने जब उसको एज को भी जब अपने एनोनिमाइज करा तो अपन ने उसके इनिशियल्स 2 सेम रखे एंड उसके जो नेक्स्ट वैल्यू थी जो कि डिफरेंट थी, लाइक पहले की 9 थी, 2 थी, 7 थी, तो अपन ने उसको एनोनिमाइज कर दिया। ओके, सो इट इज नॉट विजिबल। ओके, नाउ लेट्स look at L diversity. To address homogeneity attack, another technique called L diversity has been proposed. As per L diversity, there must be L well represented values for the sensitive attribute. Disease, मतलब अगर अपन एग्जाम्पल से देखें तो in each equivalence class. Implementing L diversity is not possible every time because of the variety of data. ये थोड़ा इसका disadvantage शायद बोल सकते हो. L diversity is also prone to skewness attack. Okay, so now this point, this mark skewness attack. L diversity किससे मतलब L diversity को किससे खतरा रहता है? Skewness attack से. Okay, when overall distribution of data is skewed into few equivalence class attribute, disclosure cannot be ensured. For example, अगर अपन देखें, if the entire record are distributed into only 3 equivalence class, then semantic closeness of these values may lead to attribute disclosure. Also, L diversity may lead to similarly attack from table 3, मतलब this table of L diversity privacy preservation technique, देख सकते हैं कि that we know that John, जो कि जॉन है, मतलब कोई पर्सन ले लो जॉन, उसकी एज 27 थी एंड वो उसका जिप क्या है 7 5 5 7, उसका जिप क्या है 5 7 6 7 7 है, then definitely John is under low income group because salaries of all the 3 person in 576 hash मतलब star zip is low compared to the other in the table. इसको कहते हैं similarity attack. Okay, now let's look at the T closeness. Let's move on to it. Another improvement to L diversity is T-closeness measure, which is an equivalence class is considered to have T-closeness if the distance between the contributions of the sensitive attribute in the class is no more than threshold and all the equivalence class have T-closeness. T-closeness can be calculated on every attribute with respect to sensitive attribute. अगर अपन इस टेबल में देखें जो कि है T closeness privacy preservation technique, तो उसमें अपन देख सकते हैं कि that if we know John is 27 years old, still it will be difficult to estimate whether John has cardiac problem or not and he is under low income group or not. Okay, T closeness may ensure attribute closeness, but implementing T closeness may not give proper distribution of data every time. Now let's move on to the randomization technique. Randomization is the process of adding noise to the data. मतलब data में अपन क्या add कर रहे हैं? We are adding noise to the data, which is generally done by probability distribution. Randomization is applied in surveys, sentiment analysis, etc. Randomization does not need knowledge of other records in the data. It can be applied during data collection and pre-processing time. There is no anonymization overhead in randomization. मतलब इसमें anonymization overhead नहीं होता है. However, applying randomization on large dataset is not possible because of time complexity and data utility, which has been proved in an experiment described below. For example, अगर मेरे पास वही की एक कॉलम मतलब सीरियल मतलब यहाँ शो नहीं करा है मैंने पीपीटी में, बट स्टिल इफ यू कुड इमेजिन दैट कि सपोज मेरे पास एक टेबल है जिसमें सीरियल नंबर, जिप, एज, सैलरी और डिजीज है, जो कि पहले मैं चलाते आ रही थी इतनी टेबल्स में, उसमें salary column be included. Okay, the one more column which we have included in those table is the salary column. Okay, so suppose we have loaded 10,000 records from an employee database into the Hadoop distributed file system and process them by executing a map reduce job. I hope you all know what is HDFS and what is map reduces, because these are the main component of Hadoop, and if you don't know this, then you seriously need to learn it, because this is the most important part of data analytics. We have learned. Okay, so let's move on to the topic. We have experimented to classify the employees based on their salary and age groups. Okay, यहाँ पे अपन अपने जो पेशेंट्स हैं उनको किस तरीके से क्लासिफाई कर रहे हैं, सैलरी और एज ग्रुप से. In order apply randomization, we added noise in the form of 5,000 records which are randomly added to make database of 15,000 records and apply and follow observations over, but that were made after running map reduce job. More number of mappers and reducers were used in data column increased. मतलब ये जो अपन ने जब ऐसा करा, जब मैप रिड्यूस जॉब अप्लाई करी, तो उसके बाद अपन ने रिजल्ट्स देखे. वो क्या थे कि मोर नंबर ऑफ मैपर्स एंड रिड्यूसर्स वर यूज्ड एज डेटा वॉल्यूम इंक्रीज. Results before and after randomization were significantly different. Some of the records which are outliers remain unaffected with randomization and are vulnerable to adversary attack. Privacy preservation at the cost of data utility is not appreciated, and hence randomization may not be suitable for privacy preservation, especially attribute disclosure. Okay, so this was randomization techniques. I hope you understood it. Let's move on to the next technique, which is data distribution technique. Okay, so in this technique, इस technique में अपन क्या करते हैं, डेटा को distribute करते हैं across many sites. Okay, distribution नाम से समझ में डेटा को distribute कर रहे हैं अपन, तो अपन इसको many different sites से distribute कर रहे हैं. Distribution of the data can be done in two ways. कितने कितने तरीकों से करा जा सकता है? दो तरीकों से. Horizontal distribution of data, vertical distribution of data. तो horizontal distribution का मतलब क्या होता है? When data is distributed across many sites which with same attributes, then the distribution is said to be horizontal distribution, जो कि आप इस फिगर से भी समझ सकते हैं. This figure I am talking about. इस फिगर से आप horizontal data distribution का मतलब समझ सकते हैं. Horizontal distribution of the data can be applied only when some aggregate functions or operations are to be applied on the data without actually sharing the data. ठीक है? For example, if a retail store wants to analyze their sales across various branches, they may employ some analytics which does computations on aggregate data. However, as part of data analysis, the data holder may need to share the data with third-party analysts, which may lead to privacy breach. Classification and clustering algorithms can be applied on distributed data, but it does not ensure privacy. If the data is distributed across different sites which belong to different organizations, then results of aggregate functions may help one party in detecting the data held with other parties. In such situations, we accept our all participating sites to be honest with each other. The next one is vertical distribution of data. Okay, vertical distribution of data, when specific, when person specific information is distributed across different sites under custodian of different organizations, then the distribution is called as vertical distribution. You can understand with this figure also. This figure also. For example, in crime investigation, the police officials would like to know details of a particular criminal which include health, profession, financial, personal, etc. All this information may not be visible or available at the one site. Such a distribution is called as vertical distribution, where each site holds few sets of attributes of a person. When some analytics have to be done, data has to be pulled in from all these sites, and there is a vulnerability of privacy breach. In order to perform data analytics on vertically distributed data, where the attributes are distributed across different sites under custodian of different parties, it is highly difficult to ensure privacy if the data sets are shared. Okay, for example, पुलिस वाले अगर हम आगे बढ़ाते हैं, for example, as a part of a police investigation, the investigating officer wants to access some information about the accused from his employer, health department, bank to gain more significant insights about the character of the person. In this process, some of the personal and sensitive information of the accused may be disclosed to the investigating officer, leading to personal embarrassment, or abuse. Anonymization cannot be applied when entire records are not necessary for analysis. Okay, so now let's move on to the cryptographic techniques. Okay, the data holder may encrypt the data before releasing the same for statistics. But encrypting large-scale data using conventional encryption techniques is highly difficult and must be applied only during data collection time. Okay, so I hope you understood the cryptographic technique. I'm not explaining it in much detail because it is not that important. Okay, let's move on to the next multidimensional sensitivity based anonymization, MSDBA. MDSBA. Bottom-up generalization and top-down generalization are the conventional method of anonymization which were applied on well-represented structured data records. Okay, so this multidimensional sensitivity-based anonymization is an improved anonymization technique such that it can be applied on large datasets with reduced loss of information and predefined quasi-identifiers. Okay, as a part of this technique, Apache MapReduce framework. As a part of this technique, क्या use करते हैं अपन? Apache MapReduce framework. Apache MapReduce framework has been used to handle large datasets. In conventional Hadoop distributed data file system, the data will be divided into blocks of either 64 MB or 128 MB each and distributed across different nodes without realizing the data inside the blocks. As a part of multidimensional sensitivity-based anonymization technique, the data is split into different bags based on the probability distribution of the quasi-identifiers by making use of filters in the Apache Pig scripting language. Multidimensional sensitivity-based anonymization make use of bottom-up generalization. Important है क्योंकि अपने देखा कि anonymization bottom-up होता है और एक top-down होता है. तो जो MDSB है ये क्या करता है? Bottom generalization को use करता है, but on a set of attributes with certain class values where class represents a sensitive attribute. Okay, data anonymization was done using for 4 quasi identifiers using Apache Pig. Okay. Since the data is vertically partitioned into different groups, it can be protected from background knowledge attack if the bag contains only few attributes. This method also makes it difficult to map the data with external sources to disclose any person-specific information. Okay, so this was so there is one more point. Multidimensional sensitivity-based anonymization cannot be applied for streaming data. Okay. So this is all about MDSBA, and by this we are at the end of our presentation. So thank you. If you have any queries regarding to whatever I have explained, you can contact me through this mail ID. Okay, so I would like to thank you so much for being patient and listening to me throughout your presentation. Thank you.